My gambling got so out of control. I was so far in debt and so unhappy and desperate. It got to the point where I considered suicide.
What I loved about gaming was just the escape. There were a lot of struggles going on with my life personally at the time, with family, and I just wanted to be left alone.
The pain I had was my childhood relationship with my father. He was very emotionally abusive, and I also had a lot of hate for myself. I'm a gay male, and it took me a long time to come to terms with that. And the video games allowed me to escape from the pain, and I could just numb myself.
For me, porn was an escape from feelings of anxiety, depression, a lot of loneliness. It became something where I didn't feel like I was even in control anymore.
I've lost a lot of my friends, and I came close to losing my job. So I had to make a change.
We all have the power and strength to be aware of our addiction and to be able to find help for our addiction. It's the matter of being able to know your worth and to actually believe that you have the strength to get through the addiction, just like I have.
There is hope for people who have an addiction. I'm living proof of that.
Without choices for change, I'm afraid to think of where I would be today.
We are seeing these excessive behaviors starting at a much earlier age, and very little in terms of guidelines and restrictions and regulations on how to balance use of these tools.
We're seeing entire family systems beginning to lose track of the importance of spending time outdoors, physical activity, so on and so forth. We've become very reliant on screens at work. We now utilize screens for play, for entertainment, hence the overdependence on screens and sometimes the development of unhealthy behaviors.
Warning signs would definitely be paying attention to your overall physical health. How are you sleeping? How are you eating? What's your personal hygiene routine like? Are family or friends commenting on the amount of time that you're in front of those devices? Are you stressed out about finances? Is school performance being affected? Are your grades suffering? Are teachers commenting? Are you falling asleep in class? Are you on your phone when you should be working? Has your boss commented on your performance? Those are key signs to pay attention to as well.
I was addicted to gaming for about 10 years of my life. During the weekdays, it would be 8-9 hours. On the weekends, it would be anywhere from like 15-16 hours a day. My quality of life changed. It results in sleep deprivation, poor eating habits, and at the end, I pushed my friends away.
Gambling affected my life in a way that my world became very small. I worked, I gambled, I didn't see my family, I rarely saw my friends, and I would spend every cent I made on gambling. And I would lose a lot of money. It got to the point where I was over $100,000 in debt from gambling.
When I was 17 years old, I suffered from a skin condition that took me away from being who I was. It affected my self-esteem greatly, and it was one of the main reasons I started to become very antisocial.
A typical day for me at the height of my addiction would be to go to work all day, come home, spend time with my kids and my wife, and as soon as everybody went to sleep, I was online. You don't even notice the time going by until you kind of look at the clock, and I lost so many hours that way. It was almost like being high or, having a buzz from a few drinks.
dopamine is basically the chemical, it's the reward center of the brain. And you're excited, that's dopamine being released. So we all crave it, we all need it. For example, if you're using cocaine, a certain area of the brain will light up, the same as it will if you're engaging in pornography. So all of these behaviors are biologically similar, which makes it much easier for us to explain to the client that if we can change the way you behave, if we can change the way you think, we stand a good chance of helping you to rewire your brain and help you to carry on with your life.
March 14th, 2007. The darkest moment for me in my life is when I tried to hang myself. I wanted to get away from everything, and luckily enough for me, I was able to wake up on the ground and come to and be able to see that I'm still alive and realize that I was lucky enough to slip out of the rope that I made and have another chance at life.
I realized that the screens wasn't actually helping me with my angers that I had towards myself. And that moment, that's when I realized something has to change.
When it got to that point where I couldn't pay bills, my phone was ringing nonstop from creditors, the amount of stress I was under was horrible, and I just wanted to fix everything. And it was through the support of my addiction counselor and my brother that I was able to get my life back together.
When working with an individual, my first approach is to establish a working relationship that's based on the foundation of trust and respect. For a lot of people who come through the door, they've never had that kind of relationship, and for them to be able to open up about what's going on and to feel safe to do so, they need to be able to trust that person. From there, I like to move on to a strengths-based approach and ask that individual, what's going well for you? What's working in your life? And how do we build on that to create further success? And from there, I move into a solution-focused approach in terms of setting small, attainable goals for that individual to feel some success from week to week and to motivate them to want to return. Do you think that you could commit to that?
Okay, I can do that.
In my office, I have a whiteboard. I draw a circle, and at the top of the circle, I draw a very fine triangle, and I put the number 15. And then I tell people that everyone that walks into my office is 100% to me, minus a small little piece wedge, 15%, which is the excessive behavior, doesn't matter what it is. The other 85% is what needs to be worked on and addressed. We're all physical people. Physical, mental, social, spiritual, occupational, financial health. So those are the areas we address. What I hope to do with you, with your motivation, with your health, is to develop very, very achievable goals in each and every one of these areas. The philosophy behind that is that if we can help people to achieve better health in all of these areas, the idea is they'll be far less inclined to feel the need to escape. I've seen tremendous amount of change using this model. It appears to be very motivating.
What I learned in coming to Choices for Change was that I needed to find out what balance looked like for me, and I had to figure out how to achieve that balance. I've changed the way I eat, I've changed my exercise patterns, I've changed my sleeping habits, I've changed my communication skills. Choices for Change has taught me how to set new goals once I've achieved the small goals you set out initially. And now I feel like I can set any goal and accomplish it.
By engaging in addiction counseling, I was given a toolbox. I filled my life up with healthy, productive activities instead of gambling. I take responsibility for my actions. I don't avoid problems. I've taken control over my finances. I'm remarried. I paint. If I didn't seek out counseling, I would be dead. I know that for a fact. I was halfway there.
I was so close to giving up on my life, But then I realized it's never too late. So I seeked out for help. When I have the urges to go back to video games, trust me, it's really hard to fight it, even now. But I go for a nature walk, I go to the gym, or sometimes I meditate. So as a result, I was able to substitute my negative behaviors into something positive.
So it takes 28 days roughly, they say, to break a habit, and about the same time to form a new one. So I wanted to get into a healthy routine with a fitness routine. And so I started socializing more. So I started going to the beach with my friends, for example, or asking if anyone's interested in going on a mountain bike trail, going bike riding. I started jogging a lot and just started focusing more on my school. All right, guys, so there's an activity that we're going to be doing today that helps us with coping with stress. It's called check in and check out.
Yep.
So the cool thing about me being a client of Choice for Change is now that I am a counselor of Choice for Change, so I can give back to the people that have helped me, but also being able to give back to youth. And I just want to let everyone know that, whatever you're going through, awareness brings choice and choice brings freedom, and to never give up.
I've seen change with my clients through my own eyes, and the transformations are truly remarkable.
I'm definitely looking forward to the rest of my life.
Now that I have more self-control, it feels great. When the sun shines, I feel like the sun's shining for me.